Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Namaste, Siddhaswarupaya, Radha Krishna Chaitanya. Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Namaste, Siddhaswarupaya, Radha Krishna Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Narayana, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Narayana, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Narayana, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Narayana. Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Narayana, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Narayana, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Narayana, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Narayana. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Bhagavan, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Goranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Goranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Goranga. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Bhajya Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasudeva Gopaka Vrinda. Bhajya Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasudeva Gopaka Vrinda. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Krishna, Krishna, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Hi Lord, let that go, hi Lord, hi Lord. Everybody sing. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Krsna, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga. Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga. Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namaste. Ora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prastaya Te. Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namaste. Ora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prastaya Te.
So the study program we're doing can be applied by us so we can achieve and experience the result of what is being given to us, and it's about the science or the practice or the method to do the will of God. Okay? So yun ang bottom line. So the problem we face, all of us here, because we want to do our own will. Okay, yun, okay? So the problem, if we try to do our own will, because we're not in control, we're not self-sufficient, and we don't have the taste to listen. So it means, the more you don't have a taste to listen, to chant the holy names, the more you're further away and drifting away on and on from what you're longing for. So you're longing for happiness, but because you're dictated by the mind, and because the mind motivates you, siya yung nagmo-motivate sa inyo, sa lahat, to do our own will. We identify with it and with this material nature. So the cause of suffering is about ourselves. We are making decision to follow the mind and do our own will. Okay? So it means, lahat ng ginagawa nyo, accountable kayo. Kasi you have a responsibility. Whatever action na gagawin nyo, you're responsible for the action. So kung ano yung focus ng mind nyo, anong focus ng heart nyo, yung desire nyo, lahat kayo na nandito. So if your goal is to do your own will, then you will not be attracted. Hindi ka, yun ang sign eh. You're not attracted because you'll be dictated by the mind. Because you don't have this taste of happiness within your heart, then you will be driven. Like, you see the clouds? Diba? Kita yung clouds? It's driven by the air, kung saan pupunta, by the wind. Yung wind, it's driven. Okay? So yun yung process na pinapalo natin. So to put it in a nutshell, bottom line, is you should ask yourself, lahat kayo na nandito, okay? Because you're students of the science of identity, you're under the guidance of our spiritual master, and I am to teach you how you can be in harmony in doing the will of God. Okay? That is my duty as a teacher, as a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, to guide you, to teach you about your situation. Okay? So definitely, all of us here, lahat kayo naghahanap ng happiness. You want benediction. You want a wholesome life. Okay? But if you're dictated by your mind, by your desire, then there's a problem. Because you're doing your own will. And because you're not all-powerful, your will not be done. Understand? Your will not be done. Yung mind nyo, if your mind is focused upon what you want to do, then you'll experience this longing for happiness that you're not able to do and experience what you want. Di ba? Yun naman, di ba? Very simple, di ba? Kaya it gives you pain. It gives you worries. Okay? So, yung study program natin dito is to understand clearly, it's not just about teaching you you're not the body. It's not just teaching you about this miserable world. No, it's not that. It's about understanding that the reason we are experiencing this disconnection from ananda or happiness that is inherent sa puso nyo, that will give you satiation sa heart, is because we are not in harmony with the will of God. Yun naman yung problem. So I'm trying to help do my duty to point to all of you kayo that you can experience happiness when you are in harmony with the will of God. It means the will of God is what we should be doing. So, ito yung babasahin ko at yung process. Okay? So, you know now the problem. Alam na nyo. The problem is that you're doing your own will and you're not self-sufficient. You're not all-powerful. You're not God. That's the point. Stop playing God. You're not the master. You're not the controller. Okay? So, no matter what you do, you may kick there, you struggle, and the more you're separated from the source of happiness, the sign is you're not engaging in doing the will of God. Understand? Is it clear, Govinda Dasi? Okay. So meaning, love being the supreme person is achievable. Because love is inherent, inseparable from us. Service is inseparable from us. But the question is, how can it be in harmony with someone who loves and cares for us, who is the source of all what we are longing for, yung happiness. It's Krishna, the Supreme Person, the all-attractive Supreme Person, Govinda, the Supreme Protector. So the reason I'm trying to lay down this foundation is you can be guided that yes, that when you are feeling loneliness in your heart, when you're feeling distress, discomfort, then you can easily understand that you're not in your natural position and function in doing what is pleasing to God. Okay? And it is a sign that you're drifting away. And how do you drift away? How you become like the cloud that is being driven by the strong wind. If the wind goes to the strong wind, it goes to the north, you go there. It goes to the south, you are helpless. Okay? When you are not understanding where to look for what you're longing for shelter, for love, for comfort, for tranquility. So, it can only be answered and addressed by following the will of God. So we must humble ourselves to take shelter of someone who really loves us, who is the Supreme Controller, and he can only be understood, and we can know him through someone who really knows him, okay? Who loves him, and that person is the bona fide spiritual master. So when you come in contact with Krishna's compassion, the personification of God's compassion, the spiritual master, then your heart, yung buhay mo, will be gliding towards that happiness of Ananda, experiencing the happiness because it gives comfort to the heart. You experience there's nothing more to be gained, but the mind will always be restless, bombarding with you so many desires. You have experienced, you have tried to find happiness. It's like a scratch. Di ba? Like an itch. Kamot ka ba ng kamot, Makati. You know? So when you chant the holy names, you follow this process. I'll read to you the experience of those who have succeeded. The saintly person. Because you come to this world, I asked you a question last time, di ba? Tinanong ko kayo, have you ever made it a goal in your heart to do the will of God? Or God to do your will? Okay? Have you ever make it that your vocation, your goal, is to become a saintly person? To have a pure heart? Wala, hindi ganun ang tinuro sa school. But that is what is inherent, inseparable from the spirit soul, you. And because of materialism, this ignorance of your true identity that has been our exposure, the false ego, false bodily identification, lordship of trying to dominate matter, because the direction of materialistic education is centered around economic development. If you have money, you have happiness. If you have money, you can control. If you're stupid or a doo-doo head, a moron, if you have money, you can buy people to run your company who are intelligent. Yeah. So that is the goal, economic development. Okay? So that is the direction that has been predominant in this material world. Control, enjoyment of sensual enjoyment. Then you ask this question, who is happy? Who is not envious? You see others, they are happy. You become envy. You envy. You become envious. You envy. I want that. I want that. So meaning, you or your heart is not fulfilled. You become angry. Why? because you're frustrated in trying to control. Shows that you are not the controller. You're not all-powerful. But who will guide us? Will it be the organization? Will it be joining a group? Will it be the faith that I was brought up? No. It is the eternal science of pure loving devotional service of a relationship that is eternal. Love for God. And God is a person. He's Govinda, Krsna. And how do we know Him? By the process that will purify us from this ignorance. The wisdom that comes from the spiritual master. To learn and know how to love God, you must be learning from someone who is the representative of God, who knows Him. Not the group, not the organization, not the faith. You may have faith on something that is not eternal. Okay? Materialism also, a false faith. You think you're the body? That's fanaticism. That's ignorance. But you have faith. But it's wrong. It's in ignorance, okay? It will not protect you. It will not save you. It will be, we put in a situation like a cloud driven by the strong wind. Okay? But you're responsible for your action. You have the responsibility to make the right choice. And if the choice you'll do is in harmony with what is transcendental and eternal, then you succeed. Okay? Is it clear? Huh? Govinda Dasi and Kirtan Das? Is it clear? Chaitanya Das? Okay? Hindi naman kailangan may PhD ka. Hindi kailangan marami kang trophy, medalya. Okay? Action speaks louder than words. Okay? So kung ano yung activities mo, that will be the result of what you will experience. Like I'm saying, if you're ignorant, you touch the fire, you get burned. Hindi mo po sabihin, I don't know, ignorant ako. No. Ignorance is not an excuse. So I'm telling you now that you are accountable, you have responsibility. Because that responsibility is a way you can make a choice to relate to God. Because service to God is about responsibility and care. It's about loving someone, a person. Just like a mother takes care of a child. Okay? Your mom, she's out there, she works. So you can experience alleviation, be in comfort, to be protected. But I don't see your mama. But you go to Palawan to get something, yeah, to buy your chichirias or toothpaste or toothbrush, whatsoever. No? But I don't see her. Okay? So all the things you see here, when you become purified by chanting the holy name, you can appreciate now, wow, who owns all of this? The beautiful flowers, everything. But in materialistic consciousness, wherein you are the Lord, contaminated by false ego, you see this world as a place to consume, to enjoy. But when you become purified by the process that is given to you, then you see the beauty of this world, that you can use everything that's here to offer in loving devotion to God. How you think, how you feel, how you work, everything, how you relate to someone, your loved ones, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your son, your daughter. It's a relationship that is based upon pleasing God. Sacrifice you do. Your mom is able to sacrifice. Yeah? She loves you so much. And because you're in a condition wherein you are safe, and she sees that because you can tell her, notify her through cell phone and everything, to Facebook and YouTube. So it gives joy to her heart. Okay? So when you become conscious of your true identity, then your action and activities will be in harmony with someone you love and please. Since everyone that is here is God's children, you relate to them with respect. Okay? But that doesn't mean, but we have a choice also to be responsible. Okay? So I'll read to you here about the benefits to be situated under the guidance of the Supreme Person, Krsna. Okay? Not a blade of grass moves without the knowledge of God. Okay? Nothing is accident here. Okay? Walang accident. There's a controller. Nothing. So this is just one of the prayers of the demigods. How fortunate we are. When Krishna came here 5,000 years ago, and Lord Chaitanya came here 500 years ago, and passed on to us the holy names through the Parampara, the spiritual master. Our dear lotus-eyed Lord, you are the source of pure goodness. There are many great sages who simply by samadhi or transcendental meditating upon your lotus feet and thus being absorbed in your thought have easily transformed the great ocean of nescience created by material nature to no more than water in a cup of a hoof print. The purpose of meditation is to focus the mind upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, beginning from His lotus feet. Simply by meditation on the lotus feet of the Lord, great sages cross over this vast ocean of material existence without difficulty. So this material world, this material nature, so vast. It's hard to cross this ocean of misery. Okay? But if we meditate upon the lotus feet of the Supreme Person, meaning the instruction, receiving His love, His care, His holy names, then that great ocean turns into a small hoofprint of a calf. Have you seen yung gamatoy na tea? Baka ba? Di man dako iyang tiil. Pareho sa ato. Anak lang man siya, di ba? So it's compared that this ocean, when we put our life under the guidance of His loving servant, where our heart, our mind is focused upon doing His will, in meditation, chanting the holy names, remembering His pastime, this ocean becomes so small. This ocean, by your power, you cannot swim. But if it becomes so small as this, you can just cross over it. Okay? Klaro sa'yo? So what is insurmountable for us, God makes it surmountable. Kaya natin laktawan. Provided we know the process and the wisdom. Okay? O self-illuminated one, the great saintly person who have crossed over the ocean of nescience by the help of the transcendental boat of your lotus feet, have not taken away the boat. It's still lying on this side. The demigods are using this nice simile. If one takes a boat to cross over a river, the boat goes with one to other side of the river. And so when one reaches the destination, how can the same boat be available to those who are still on the other side? To answer this difficulty, the demigods say in their prayer that the boat is not taken away. The devotees still remaining on the other side are able to pass over the ocean of material nature because the pure devotees do not take the boat with them when they cross over. When one simply approaches the boat, the whole ocean of material nescience is reduced to the size of water in a cup hoofprints. Therefore, the devotees do not need to take a boat to the other side. they simply cross the ocean immediately. Because the great saintly persons are compassionate towards the all-conditioned soul, the boat still lying at the lotus feet of the Lord. One can meditate upon his lotus feet at any time, and by so doing, one can cross over the ocean of material existence. Meditation means concentration upon the lotus feet of the Lord. Lotus feet indicates the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those who are impersonalists do not recognize the lotus feet, and therefore their object of meditation is something impersonal. So the point is this: the devotees, they cross the ocean, okay? Because it becomes so small. They don't take the boat. So the lotus feet of Lord Krishna is the instruction of Lord Krishna, non-different. So the lotus feet of our spiritual master is about the instruction of Lord Krishna. It's about His love, His unalloyed devotional service to the Supreme Person, and He wants us to be in line with that love that is inseparable from all of you here, from all of us. So we cross that ocean. And we can know the sign if we're making progress. The more you're making progress, you begin to be sheltered under that lotus feet under the guidance. But if you are not making progress, you will be drifting away. You'll be separated from that happiness. You can see if your attraction to doing the will of God, in your prayer, in your meditation, let's be real, it's not about, prayer is a very personal relationship with God. It's not parang show an act to show everybody that you're praying, that you're crying tears of anger in your heart. Okay? It's not the voice of grief. You sing that the grief from your heart makes us feel awry, and it's a horrible sound coming from that person trying to relate to God, in his own way. Okay? No, it's not like that. So, the process that is given to us, I'll read the process in this age of Kali Yuga. During the ancient times, the golden age, the process is meditation, as what we have discussed yesterday. So, Sutapa and the wife were given the opportunity to be the father, to play that role, that Krishna will be their child when he comes to this universe, okay, to this material world. But after the pastimes of Lord Krishna in Dwarpa Yuga, wherein Lord Krishna came in Vrindavan, He's promised that after this lifetime, they'll go back to the spiritual world. And He's very pleased. So they put sacrifice. They engage in sacrifice, austerity to do the will of God. And we have discussed about meditation, that they're able to persevere the heat, the cold, the hunger. Okay? Contrary to the meditation of Hiranyakashipu. Yeah? He's able to bear the heat, the ants eating his body, for a cause of his evil heart to be God. But those devotees, they engage in sacrifice and austerity to do the will of God. And the resultant is they're given the opportunity to be the father and mother of Lord Krishna, whenever he comes to this material universe. And at the time, Krishna told them, Vasudev and Devaki, that after this lifetime, you'll go back to the transcendental world of His eternal pastimes and devotional service. So the goal we're focusing, in a nutshell, the bottom line, is to go back to that world that is transcendental, wherein our love, our whole being, will be an eternal experience of what is ananda and happiness in harmony with the pleasure of God. So, in our study program, we discuss about your identity. You are a person. Definitely you're a person. I'm not talking to a mannequin. I'm talking to you. I'm not talking at you. I'm talking to you. I'm trying to communicate these ideas coming from God. Okay? And while I speak this, it also reminds me of what I should be doing. So I'll read here the conclusion, absolute conclusion of the process. Okay? The result. Lord Chaitanya, mission. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years together. Thus the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death is extinguished. Definitely, a certain activity leads to a certain consciousness. And what your meditation is, what your action is, there will be corresponding resultant. Okay? Where you put your heart, your mind, your love, that will be your meditation, and that will be the focus when you leave this world. Okay? So when you chant the holy names, it purifies us from this covering of impurity. Just like you see glass, this glass is opaque. You see glass is transparent. Yeah? So if the glass is covered with snoot and mud and dust, you cannot see through. Okay? You cannot see through. So, very simple. If our heart is so covered with ignorance, and our mind is so much engrossed in doing our own will, we cannot see the spirit soul. We cannot see God. Okay? We want to see God to be able to serve Him. We must have the vision. Must have the eyes to see God. Okay? So, the process that is given to us is to clean the mind. So you can see across. Oh, clear glass. Okay? So when you chant the holy names, you see what's there. You see the reality. You understand that the activities you're doing will not give you happiness if it's based upon false ego, based upon materialism. Okay? You understand that? So, very simple. So, the process that is given to us is the focus upon doing the will of God, to be connected with that loving relationship. So we take shelter of God's love, our life. Because that is the teaching of all. To do the will of Allah. It's not to do the will of Allah, it's to go and fight and kill all those who don't believe in Allah, or those who are not, Christian. Okay? What is a Christian? Who is a follower of Allah? Okay? We must understand the transcendental nature of Allah, Krishna, and the Father. It's all about His love for us. Okay? And it's about His will. He wants us to serve and love Him. So we must make that choice. And when we are guided by His guidance, we experience ananda or happiness. And it extinguishes the repeated cause of our suffering to be in this body, life after life, on and on. Because the spirit soul will never cease to exist. The question is, where will you exist? Will it be in the world of death, with this body, or in a world there is no matter? Okay. So when you chant the holy names, the fruit that you're making progress, you will be so much attached to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna through his instruction because it gives fulfillment to the heart. But when you are not in that situation, you're not attracted. You'll be driven by the mind. Because the thinking and the feeling, the willing, will be following the desire in the mind. Is it clear? So no matter what you do, you don't blame anyone. You don't blame anyone because your life is in your hands. You're responsible for your action. Okay? Hindi kayo pwedeng mag-blame na, oh, kasalanan niya, kasalanan nito, ganun. And you cannot say, I don't know. Okay? Because ignorance is not an excuse. So, the Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large. It spread the rays of benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it helps to have a taste of the full nectar for which we are always anxious. What is that nectar? It's about affection. It's about a reciprocation of offering your love that you know is eternal. Okay? Guided in purity by this transcendental wisdom. So liberation, when you're liberated from material desires through the process of the Sankirtan, the chanting, then you can engage in devotional service, in practice. And when you engage in practice of hearing and chanting and remembering, then it becomes spontaneous. Because love for Krishna is our eternal world. So due to our conditioning, contaminated by this material nature, guided by the three modes, and we try to fight it out, to control. But we're so stupid that we have this body already. We're in this body already. We're already controlled. And how do we fight material nature, to control material nature? By the use of this body. Okay? We search happiness, focus our happiness through controlling the body. So we become enslaved by material nature. So you're already defeated in the beginning. You'll never win. Because we are already in shackles, covered by this earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and now false ego because we identify with the body. So that's a problem, false ego. It must be cut off, purified with wisdom. So if you have this understanding, then you can have this guidance to check, am I progressing to go back to Krishna? Okay. Then the more you are chanting and following the process, then the more you experience happiness and connection. And instead of gliding out, you're gliding in to that world that is inseparable from you. The search for happiness and love. That's why when you are making progress, you come to the point, there's nothing more to be gained. And when you are faithful, thankful, in humbleness to do the will of God, and He guides you to do the process, engage in the process, to follow the path, Maya will be offering you many, many things because Maya has already engulfed us. Because the reason we have this body, because we have this subtle body. And the mind is the subtle body. The desires are there. Okay? We have the intelligence. But if the intelligence is contaminated, meaning it is about using the intelligence in trying to be fulfilling our desire, which is guided by illusion, the three modes, then we'll never succeed. So it's a science you must understand. Okay? A certain activity leads to a certain consciousness, and a certain consciousness leads to a certain activity. So ibig sabihin, whatever consciousness you have, because of your activity, your meditation, your focus, where you put your heart, your mind. Okay? So the problems we face will be based upon that. So you ask this question, how come I'm not successful in finding happiness? I've tried so many formulas, okay? So many formulas, I've focused upon so many things, It's all about the label, this body, okay? To be number one. You ask the number one basketball player, his body is under the ground already. Kobe Bryant, okay na? Nauna na COVID, no? Patay na. Sino pa? The great dancer, okay? Sino yun? Space, sino yung naglalakad ng moonwalk? He's still walking? Who's dancing the moonwalk? Are you still dancing? Is he still walking? Okay. Is he successful? His life, you ask. What I envy. Envy kasi you look at them externally, and if you have this, you're ignorant where to find happiness. Even though you're given, my point is, those who follow them are ignorant. But what is sad is when you know the wisdom already, you have given this kiva to open that door, to get out of this jungle, to cross the ocean. And the process is the chanting of the holy names. It's God Himself embracing us. He is the one driving where we should be going on. Okay? You know that already. But because we want to do our own will, we don't want to do His will, then we fall far short of our expectation because we are not self-sufficient. We are not God. That's the point. And this envy of trying to imitate God, to play God, separates us from doing His will. And His will is not what people portray, that God is a judge, is mean. No. Krishna is very sweet, very gentle. If you don't like Him, you don't want to serve Him, He does not push Himself. He's gone. You cannot see Him. You want to see God? Then learn how to love Him. Follow the instruction of the spiritual master. Follow His instruction. Chant the holy names. Is it clear? You have now the boat to cross the ocean. And you don't need that boat anymore because you have Krishna, the holy names. It will become a hoofprint of a cup. That ocean becomes so small. Okay? You're looking for happiness? The holy names is the source of happiness. So you chant. You want peacefulness of the heart? You chant the holy names. You want purity of the heart? You don't want to be burdened by this burden you're carrying on. And what is that burden? Where is it situated? In the mind. Lust, anger, and greed. Where we look outside. I need that. I want that. And it's a burden because you are not the controller. You have to work hard. And even though you get it, you will not be happy. So you carry that burden, load. I have a friend. He has so much. But because he just wants to do his own will, the source of his security and happiness is causing him to die sooner. He doesn't eat anymore. He has so much money, Pwedeng tagpi-tagpiin, pwede niyang gawing kumot yung pera niya. Ang dami niyang sasakyan, isa lang siya. Okay? Ang dami niyang pera. Pero ang focus niya is to get more money, to be secured. Hindi niya alam, tumatakbo yung oras. And look at his consciousness. He's so angry. Yun ang sign. When you're trying to control, you become frustrated, you become angry. You're not able to see anymore the person. So it's a life of loneliness. When there's no chanting, when there's no Krishna, no Govinda, no Allah, this is a life of darkness, a life of emptiness, sadness and grief, a life of insecurity. Okay? You will not be experiencing comfort of the heart. Okay? Look at your where's Brinda? Okay? Your mom sent you here. You know? She finds comfort in her wishing you well so you can chant. Okay? So she's not worried. She's caring about you, even your mama, even Govinda Dasi, you know? Yeah? They're a well-wisher. You know? But all these are happening not because you're forced, but because Krsna is giving you this opportunity to come here to see the truth. Where there is light, there is no darkness. Okay? The truth will set you free from the burden you're carrying. And, you know? You can be a businessman because that's your tendency. You like to earn money, okay? You want money, okay? But you're just a caretaker. You don't own anything. So you can use your talent, you can use your intelligence, your mind, everything that you have temporarily in your possession. If you connect it with what is transcendental, then you don't take birth in this world anymore. But if you you use this body as a venue, this field of activities, to connect yourself with this world, and this world is a place of suffering, then you suffer birth, death, disease, and knowledge. On and on and on. Okay? The wisdom will set you free, the truth will set you free, and you'll experience what you're longing for. Happiness. And that is connected with the Supreme Person. His activities, His glories, His life, His devotees who are inseparable from Him. That's why we relate to the spiritual master as not different from God. Because He's never separated from God's love. His whole life is unalloyed pure devotion service. So the more you chant, the more you become purified. You now see what real value is. It is not the money. It is the understanding how we can use whatever is temporarily in our possession as a garland to offer in loving devotion to the Supreme Person. Meaning your life to offer to God. God doesn't need us. He's self-sufficient. But He loves us eternally. He has unconditional love for us. And the spiritual master is also our friend because he represents the Lord within our heart. The role of the spiritual master is not a position of power. He is the Lord from the outside to tell us what we cannot hear from the Lord within the heart. So when we become purified from all this ignorance, we can hear the Lord within the heart guiding us. And who gives you remembrance and forgetfulness? Krishna. Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, from me comes remembrance and forgetfulness. I know past, present, and future. So He is there waiting for us. He doesn't force Himself. You know? Because love is not force. You cannot say, love me, I'll put you in jail if you don't love me. It's also, God is not a rapist. Love me, I love you. No? It's really offensive to think like that. Okay? We are so much in ignorance and misguided based upon discovering of materialism. And it can only be alleviated. We can become free from discovering through the prime benediction that is given to us in this age of Kali Yuga, the chanting of the holy name. You can check where you came from before trying to understanding this science. You can see, especially those devotees who are making progress, you cannot live a life without the holy names. You cannot live a life separated from Krishna. No? It's a very high price. No? You cannot, the value ba, you cannot put it in a container, for exchange. You look back where you belong before, and you look now, your situation, you begin to see, yes, all the problems I face, it's now in clarity. I can make decision, responsibility, and a relationship with God. So that's the whole focus of this program here. Okay? That your relationship with God is sustainable because you understand the truth. You have wisdom. You make the right decision even though you're not in Madana, Mohana Academy anymore. That is the science. That is how we can be protected. So the spiritual master comes with the wisdom. He comes with the boat. And that ocean, this ignorance, becomes so small that he just crosses it and leaves the boat. The lotus feet of Krishna, the wisdom, the lotus feet means the heart, the instruction, the will of God. Okay. It's about you. It's not about what we want. It's rather what Krishna wants. So now you have this choice. What you want, will it be what Krishna wants? Or what you want for Krishna to do your will, or you're gonna do His will? So what kind of relation would you want to do? To have? That is your freedom, okay? But you can be guided with this wisdom. And what is that wisdom? It is God's love. Everything that you see here is this relationship of how we can be with Him, but with wisdom. So what is the consciousness of a person who is separated from God? He is the dominator, the enjoyer. What is the consciousness of someone who is in harmony with God? He understands the absolute truth. Everything animate or inanimate that is within this universe is owned and controlled by God. Knowing well to whom they belong, He used the quota that is allotted to Him. He knows it belongs to God. But for a person who wants to play God, he sees this world as a place to control. Either control for himself. And he ends up empty-hearted. Because we're not self-sufficient. We're not the controller. Very simple. Is it clear sa'yo, Chaitanya Das? Okay? Your body is so young, so many things that you should learn. But if you have the holy names, you chant and dance, then Krishna will be the one to pick you up to cross this ocean. But because of the wisdom of our spiritual master, this ocean becomes so small. Just cross it. Because you know now the truth, that you're not separated from Krishna. That you're loved so much. That everything that is here belongs to Him and you can use it to offer to Him. So the meditation is about a loving relationship. The meditation of someone who's separated from God is sees this world a place to control, a place of security, that even in the face of adversity, that he's gonna lose everything, he tries to take shelter of this world. He embraces suffering because in ignorance, he wants to control. Okay? You hug your body, okay? You hug this dead body. Is it clear sa inyo? Clear than that? Is it clear? You have questions? So let's stop from here to our study program. Then we chant. Okay? So I'll read again the prime benediction. Glory to Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years together. Thus the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death, is extinguished. The Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spread the rays of benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it helps to have a taste of the full nectar for which we are anxious. So ito yung vaccine against materialism. Intindihan niyo? So yung vaccine na binibigay nila, vaccine lang yun para ma-maintain yung existence natin sa body. Vaccine, bala yung vaccine? Yung antidote. Mas malama, mas vaccine, antidote. Gamot ba? The medicine to cure our disease. Okay, yun yung vaccine. Ginamitan lang nila ng mga word. Kita nyo? Mga word na ano. Yung gamot. Okay? Para to make it simple, kung hindi nyo makontrol yung loose bowel movement nyo, inom kayo ng diatabs. So let's chant Haribol Namaste.
Haribol. Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Ora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prasayate. Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Ora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prasayate. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Mohana, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Mohana. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Mohana, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Mohana. Bhakti Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasudeva Gopala. Bhakti Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasudeva Gopala. Gopala Govinda, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Jaya Jaya Gauranga.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga,
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada.
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada.
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Shri Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Shri Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev,
Jaya Jaya
Krishna,
Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa.
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda
Krishna,
Paramahamsa.
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa.
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Ora Karuna Sarupaya Hare Krishna Krishna Te
Namo Siddhaswarupananda